For months, I felt myself being slowly pushed to the edges of my own relationship. I was overlooked, brushed aside, made to feel like an interruption rather than a partner. Eventually, I made a single, silent choice, one that quietly redirected everything. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't explain myself. I didn't even give her a hint. I simply removed one date from our calendar, the one that was supposed to be ours. By the time my wife realized what I had done, there was nothing left to undo. For nearly a year, Emily had been emotionally unavailable. Not cruel, not explosive, just distant. She arrived home late most nights, drained, distracted, constantly occupied. Our conversations shrank to short answers. Physical closeness faded. Even meeting my eyes felt rare, like a privilege instead of something natural. Whenever I tried to talk about it, her response never changed. Later, I'm worn out. Not now. At first, I convinced myself it was job pressure. Then I turned inward and blamed myself. Maybe I had become boring. Maybe I wasn't enough anymore. But the dismissals kept coming. At dinner date, I already have plans with people from work. A short getaway. I don't feel like traveling these days. Even reaching for her resulted in a quiet step backward, as if I were asking too much. Still, I stayed. I handled the housework. I made meals. I waited patiently. I held on to hope. Our 10th wedding anniversary was approaching a decade together. I had been preparing for it quietly for months. I secured a cozy hotel by the lake, booked the same restaurant where we shared our first meaningful date, and bought a necklace I remembered her admiring long ago. I wanted this moment to reconnect us, to remind her of who we once were. 2 weeks before the date, I finally told her. I showed her the confirmations and tried to sound cheerful instead of needy. She barely glanced away from her phone. Then she said, almost casually, "That weekend won't work. My team is doing a retreat. I can't get out of it." I stared at her. "It's our anniversary." 10 years, she sighed, clearly irritated, as if I had asked for something unreasonable. "You're overreacting? We'll do something later." Later, the same word she'd been using for months. Something inside me shut down. That night, while she slept, I canceled everything: the hotel, the reservation, every detail I had arranged. I didn't mention it. I didn't argue. I just let the day approach without another word. On the morning of our anniversary, I got up early, brewed coffee, and sat at the table like it was an ordinary day. Emily rushed out, already dressed, distracted as usual. "I'll be out late," she said. "The retreat prep is taking longer than expected." I simply nodded. "Okay." She hesitated, clearly caught off guard. Maybe she expected a reaction. Maybe she expected disappointment. I gave her nothing. That evening, I went out alone, not to the place we once loved, not anywhere special, just a quiet diner. I ate slowly and thought about the past year. About how much of myself I had shrunk just to avoid conflict, about how long I had waited for her to choose me again. She didn't come home until after midnight. The next day, her behavior changed. She seemed uneasy. She watched me carefully, like she was searching for something she couldn't quite find. Finally, she said, "You didn't say anything yesterday." "About what?" I asked. "Our anniversary." I shrugged. "You were busy." Her expression tightened. "You didn't even remind me." I looked straight at her. Then really looked. "I did," I said quietly. "You just didn't care." The words lingered heavily between us. Over the next few days, she suddenly became attentive. She asked about dinner, sent messages during the day, sat closer to me on the couch. It was as if she had suddenly remembered she was married, but something in me had already shifted. I wasn't upset anymore. I wasn't aching. I was finished. Waiting. About a week later, she finally asked, "Did you actually have something planned for our anniversary?" "Yes," I replied evenly. Her eyes widened. "What do you mean?" "There was a trip, dinner, a gift," I said. "I canceled all of it." Her lips parted in shock. "You canceled it?" I didn't see the reason to go through with it. The first time in a long while, she looked truly shaken. "Why wouldn't you tell me?" "Because every time I reached for you, you pulled away." I said, "I wanted to know what would happen if I stopped reaching." The room went silent. She lowered herself into a chair, as if the weight of it all had finally landed. "I didn't. No, you felt like this." I nearly laughed. "I've been saying it for months. You just weren't hearing me." That night, she cried. She said she hadn't realized how far she had pushed me away. She blamed exhaustion, pressure, burnout. She admitted she assumed I would always be there, no matter what. She said she never thought missing one anniversary could mean so much. But it wasn't about the date. It was about what it symbolized. I told her something I had never voiced. Before, when you stopped choosing your partner, eventually, they stopped choosing you as well. The days that followed were uncomfortable. She tried harder than she had in a year. Affection, compliments, plans, apologies. But the balance had changed. I was no longer chasing. I wasn't bleeding for attention. A month later, I made another calm decision. I told her I needed space. No shouting, no drama, just truth. I don't know if I can keep living in a relationship where I feel unseen. She panicked, promised counseling, promised change, promised effort. Maybe she meant it. Maybe it was real this time. But here's what people rarely admit. By the time your partner finally wakes up, you may already be emotionally gone. Canceling our anniversary wasn't loud or spiteful. It was quiet, intentional. It was the first time in years I chose myself. And when my wife finally understood what she had lost, not the trip, not the dinner, not the gift, but the man who once tried so hard to love her, she felt the pain deeper than any argument could cause. Like and subscribe my channel.